The chemistry of living things. This chapter is more like a combination of biology and chemistry. Everything is in life is connected to chemistry. Living organisms are made up of atoms and molecules. Like atom is the basic structure and functional unit of our body and life. And molecules, small atoms combined together, they form molecules that work together to build structures and carry out processes essential for survival. Now, introduction. The chemistry of living things explain how atoms and molecules interact to sustain. It is actually like the interaction of our body with the chemicals. For example, how the chemicals, for example, if we take like a chemical, how is that, how our body is reacting to that, such as growth, reproduction, and adaptation. Life depends on specific elements like carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are also known as the essential elements, while nitrogen as well, which combine to form biomolecules, for example, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and lipids, which we are gonna discuss in the next topic. Biochemistry. Biochemistry is the study of Biochemistry is the science, the branch of science which deals with the study of the chemical composition and reactants. So, what does that mean? Like how our body is reacting to the reactions which are happening inside. For example, like the enzymes reaction and stuff like that. Exploring the molecules and process that connect chemistry and biology. So these elements combine to create biomolecules. For example, carbohydrates, as I told you, proteins and lipids, and nucleic acids. These are essential for life. These perform essential functions such as energy store, structural support, and genetic information transfer. Now, why we study biochemistry? Understanding chemical interactions within cells such as bonding, energy transfer, and molecular recognition helps us the mechanism behind growth, reproduction, and adaptation. Now, atomic foundation of life. As we know that atom is basically the foundation of life. Atom is the basic structure and functional unit of life. All living organisms are composed of matter, which in turn is made up of atoms. The properties and interaction of atoms form the basis of biological molecules and processes. Now let's understand atom. What is basically in atom? So atom has three primary subatomic particles: proton, neutron, and electron. For example, if we have to draw an atom, it would be like a nucleus in the middle, all right, and then like a shell, and in the nucleus there is proton, there is neutron in the nucleus, and there's electron in the shells. Electron in the shells. This is known as shell, and then so proton. What is proton? Proton is basically positively charged particles, while neutron is neutral and electron is um, negatively charged particle which revolves around the shell, around the nucleus, just like the sun is revolving around the earth is revolving around the sun. And the mass of electron is almost negligible, but the electron is very important because it determines the atom's chemical reactivity. The nucleus is dense and accounts for most of an atom's mass because it has the protons and neutrons which is almost same as the mass of an atom, because electron is negligible. For example, a carbon atom has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons, making it versatile for forming bonds. As you can see here in the picture, structure of an atom, there is electron orbit, there is nucleus, proton, neutron, and electron. Proton and neutron are inside the nucleus, while electron are revolving around the shell. And the electron in the outermost shell are known as valence electron, and that shell is known as valence shell. What is atomic number in atomic mass? Atomic number represents the number of protons. Atomic number, again, atomic number represent the number of protons in an atom, or maybe we can say the number of electron in a neutral atom, not in ion. For example, hydrogen has an atomic number of 1. Now, what is atomic mass? Atomic mass is the total number of proton and neutron, or we can say the sum of proton and neutron in an atom's nucleus. For example, the atomic mass of carbon is approximately 12, which means that carbon has 6 protons and 6 neutrons. Importance in biology: atomic numbers and masses help identify isotopes and predict molecular interactions critical for biological functions. What is isotopes? Isotopes are variants of an element that have the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. Like the element will have same number of proton but different number of neutron. There are two types of isotope. One is called stable isotope and the other one is called radioactive isotopes. The stable do not decay over time, like they never decay. For example, carbon 12, while the unstable decay and emit energy, but they also decay in a lot of time, but still they decay. For example, carbon 12. As you can see here, these are the three examples of carbon 12, carbon 13 and carbon 14. So carbon 12 and carbon 13 are unstable, stable, and carbon 14 is unstable. The carbon 12 has 6 protons, sorry, 6 neutrons, while the carbon 13 has 7 neutrons, while the carbon 14 has 8 neutrons. That's why these three are isotopes of each other. Chemical bonds in biological molecules. There are three, as you know that atoms combine together to form chemical bonds. There are three types of bonds which usually happens, like very common. There are more, but these three are like more common. The first one is covalent bond. Covalent bond is sharing of electron. When sharing of electron between two nonmetals, when two nonmetals share electron and they make their outermost shell complete, that is known as covalent bonding. For example, the bonding in H2O, the bonding in CO2. While ionic bonding happens between a metal and a non-metal, where a metal loses an electron to become cation, while the non-metal gain an electron and become ion. So they are formed when electrons are transferred between atoms, resulting in charged ions. These bonds are common in salts. For example, we can say sodium chloride. Hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is the bond between molecules. For example, let's suppose if we have water molecule. Let's suppose this is water molecule HOH, okay, and there is another molecule, for example, water molecule, or let's suppose we say HF. This is HF. Now there is also bonding between two molecules. For example, so when the most electronegative atom of one molecule bond with the more electropositive atom, which is hydrogen, this type of bonding is known as hydrogen bonding. Elements of life. There are some essential elements and some more elements which are known as stress elements, which are helpful for our body. So the living things are composed of a specific set of elements that play crucial roles. One are called major elements and the other are called trace elements. Now what are major elements? In major elements we also say CHO and PHOs, okay? So the first one is carbon. Carbon is the backbone of all organic molecules. Its ability to form four covalent bonds. This is the most common thing about compound, that it can make four covalent bonds, allows it to create complex structure like chains, ring, and unbranched molecules. For example, we can say carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. All of these have carbons. Now hydrogen. Hydrogen is a key component of water, and it makes about 70% of the cell's weight. And it is involved in the energy transfer process such as in ATP, and is part of the organic molecule. If we see organic compounds, it is mostly a hydrocarbon, which is hydrogen and carbon. Now oxygen. Oxygen is essential for cellular respiration, where it acts as the final electron acceptor in the electron transport chain, and it is a major component of water and organic compounds. Nitrogen is critical element in amino acid. Mostly the proteins and nucleotides are made up of them, and nitrogen is like the building block of DNA and RNA. Again, phosphorus is found in the nucleic acids like DNA and RNA, and it is also a key component of ATP as hydrogen, and it is also plays a structural role in phospholipids, which makes up cell membrane. Phospholipids is basically a main component of cell membrane. The last element in the basic elements is sulfur. Sulfur is found mostly in amino acids, or sulfur is mostly found in proteins such as cysteine and methionine, where it contributes to protein structure during disulfide bond. It's not mandatory for every protein to have sulfur, but it is in some proteins it is there. These bonds stabilize protein folding and function. Disulfide bonds stabilize proteins folding and function. Trace elements are required in minute amounts, like they are required in very less amount, but still they are vital for specific biochemical and physiological function. The first one is iron. Iron is a key component of hemoglobin, which is the protein responsible for oxygen transport in the blood. It plays a crucial role in electron transport chain during cellular respiration. Iodine. Iodine is necessary for synthesis of thyroid hormone, which regulate metabolism, growth, and development. Iodine deficiency in iodine can lead to goiter and other health issues. Goiter is the most common disease these days. Zinc is also involved in the function of over 300 enzymes that catalyze reaction in DNA synthesis, protein production, and immune response. All right. Calcium. Calcium is crucial for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and blood clotting. It also provides structural strength to bones and teeth. Magnesium. Magnesium acts as a cofactor for numerous enzymes. It is a cofactor, I'm pretty sure. Particularly those involved in energy production and DNA replication, while copper is involved in electron transport during cellular respiration and plays a role in iron metabolism and connective tissue formation. Biochemical compound classes. Biochemical compound major classes are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. We will study them one by one. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are mainly composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen by the ratio of 1 ratio 2 ratio 1. For example, if we say glucose, so C6H12O6, it is a ratio of 1 ratio 2 ratio 1. The simplest carbohydrate is monosaccharide. Mono means one and saccharide means sugar. Simple sugar like glucose, fructose, and galactose, which are the building block of carbohydrates. Then many monosaccharide combine and they form disaccharide, for example such as sucrose, which is a mixture of fructose and glucose. The third one is polysaccharide. They are like long chain of monosaccharide, like a lot of monosaccharide combined. They form polysaccharide. The best example of polysaccharide is starch and glycogen and cellulose as well, which is which gives structural support in plant cell walls. Its function, it provides quick energy through glucose metabolism, like it provides fast energy, and it serves as an energy storage molecule, for example, glycogen in muscle liver. The second one is lipids. Lipids are hydrophobic or hydroempathic molecule that include fats, oils, waxes, phospholipids, and steroids. They are characterized by their insolubility in water, like they are insoluble in water, but they store energy a lot. They have a lot of energy inside them. The first one in them is triglyceride, which has like glycerol, like glycerol, and triglyceride like this. For example, this is how triglyceride look like. And then phospholipid, it contains a hydrophobic head and two hydrophilic head. Hydrophilic mean which loves water, and hydrophobic mean which does not, which hate water, forming the bilayer of cell membrane. It is the most important component of cell membrane. Then there is steroids. Steroids, lipids with a ring structure such as cholesterol, and hormones like testosterone and estrogen, which are the sex hormone, and its function is to store energy more efficiently than a carbohydrate due to their high energy density. The energy density is high, and they have upon one mole of lipids, they give us like 37 kilojoule energy, which is a lot. Proteins are complex macromolecules made up of amino acid linked by peptide bonds, and protein are composed of 20 different types of amino acid. There are four types of amino acid structures. I mean, primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. And the primary is like the basic structure. In the secondary, we have the alpha and the beta alpha and beta sheets. Then we have its function. So the first one is catalysis. Enzyme like amylase and DNA polymerase speed up biochemical reaction, and a lot of more enzyme, for example pepsin and a lot. Transport. Hemoglobin is the main carrier protein which carries oxygen in the blood. Structural support, and it also helps in signaling. Now, nucleic acid are polymer of nucleotide which consist of sugar, phosphate group, and nitrogenous base. The first one is deoxyribonucleic acid. It is a double-strand molecule that stores genetic material instruction for growth, development, and reproduction. The second one is RNA, and it's signal stranded molecule involved in protein synthesis and regulation of gene expression. Then we have nitrogenous bases: adenosine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil, which are uracil is only found in RNA, and its function is to store heredity information and serve as a temporary template for replication. The role of biochemical reactions in living organisms. So the main role is the metabolic pathways, anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is synthesis of complex molecules from simpler one, for example protein synthesis, while catabolism is breakdown of chemical complex molecule into simpler one, for example cellular respiration. And then energy transfer, enzymatic catalysis, for example let's suppose enzyme. And the last one is biochemical reaction, for example glucose plus oxygen combined, they give you carbon dioxide plus H2O plus ATP. And in photosynthesis we have carbon dioxide plus H2O plus that, which gives us glucose plus oxygen.